Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, one of the best buys and most charismatic options amongst neo-vintage Patek Philippe. This is a model launched in 1998. It's the 5059 Officer's Watch Retrograde Perpetual Calendar. So the specific reference right here is going to be 5059R-001 in rose gold. The watch is 36 millimeters in diameter from lug tip to lug tip. It's 44.2 and it has a 12.9 millimeter thickness with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters circumference. Now it's true there is a successor to this watch that's 38 millimeters, the 5159, also the 5160 version of it, which is engraved. But don't sleep on this because this watch wears large due to the shape of the lugs. You can see on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it's holding its own. And I would say, though you could wear it on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference, it's never going to seem petite the way, for example, say a 3970 can seem petite in the same case size. This actually has quite a bit of personality and quite a bit of presence. Taking one last look down the barrel. Although it doesn't look thin, it is thin enough with a sloped case length such that it will slide underneath the dress cuff. The strap is large rectangular scale alligator leather, and they are large symmetrical scales. So an expensive cut of the beast here. You can see the same on the other side. It's a matte finish. It's black. You can see it's got a monotone stitch. It's got a sheer cut side, lacquered for refinement, calfskin on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging. You will note that there are not pull-tab spring bars here because these Officer's Watch Patek models are built like actual World War I style trench watches, where you start with a pocket watch, you weld on the lugs, and then you use a bar fixed in place by screws. Not only does this give you a historically true aesthetic, but it actually gives you quite a bit more security than a modern spring bar, since you actually have to remove the screws and the bars here and counter torque to do that, which means it's not going to pull out by accident the way spring bars sometimes can as they age. We have a full clasp, which is itself fixed by a screw and a bar. Pop this open. You can see it's got a snap shut execution where this little bulb fits in a socket, and then these things snap together in friction fit fashion to keep it closed. We have the company's logo, the Calatrava Cross, on the buckle, and you can see that the watch is very much like a World War I officer's watch. So the idea being that in World War I, when you may not have pockets, and certainly you may not have free hands to reach for your pocket watch, it became increasingly practical to wear the watch on the wrist. And so initially, a lot of pocket watches were converted into wrist watches. So this has the look of that. We've got an unbranded onion-style crown, these welded straight lugs with the strap fixed by screws and bars. We've got a hunter case back, much as you would have found on a pocket watch. Now, the way this is made today is actually quite similar, but more refined. So the lugs are welded on, which is a very laborious, slow, and labor expertise intensive type of method. So to create a case, make the lugs separately, insert the lugs into slots in the case band, weld them together, and then file away the gathered material from the weld to create these sharp breaks. That takes a lot of time. A real officer's watch would have been considerably cruder. Patek stays true to history, but they do it at a luxury level here. Now, everything is rose gold and polished. There is a little bit of a lip to the bezel, and you can see that there's also a little bit of a tab where you can dig your nail in to pop open the case back. The hinge is well integrated underneath the crown to the point that you almost don't notice it. And then you have these little pusher adjusters in the profile to adjust the perpetual calendar and moon phase system. On the dial, once again, the theme is history. So we have a very traditional type of dial of the kind you might have seen on a pocket watch. So we have leaf hands for the hours and the minutes. We've got white dial, and it is white, not a silver metallic sunburst. It is truly chalk white, opaline, a soft frosted type finish. We have radially arrayed Roman numerals, including a watchmaker's 4. We have blackened white gold hands. We have the day, retrograde date, the month and the leap year phase. A moon phase, the perpetual calendar, only needs to be reset once in the year 2100. The moon phase needs to be reset once every 122 years. And of course, the retrograde will jump from the end of the month back to the first very quickly, adding some dynamism to the perpetual calendar complication. The case back is very simple. It's solid gold, which adds a little bit of extra weight to this watch, despite its relatively small size. You can see inside the case back. And the movement here is a variation on Patek Philippe's caliber 315 center rotor automatic. So it's an automatic winder with actually, this is a 3 hertz beat rate because it's a 315, but it's got a 5-position adjustment, and it's got a free-sprung Gyromax style balance, 45-hour power reserve, and the Gyromax style balance allowing for a very precise adjustment, but also a good deal of shock resistance. And you can see the Geneva hallmark on the bridge adjacent, attesting to the standards of materials, finish, and quality inherent in this movement, which is single barrel, 31 joules. You can see the 5-position adjustment, also to hot, cold, and isochronism, and all of this 30 meters water resistance, so splash only. Lots to love. The difference between a 315 and a 324, people often ask, is the beat rate. 315 is 3 hertz, the 324 is 4 hertz. Otherwise, they are almost identical, with the only real detail changes being running changes over time, like the Patek Philippe seal, 6-position adjustment, and a silicone hairspring. This generation would have had 5-position adjustment, a metal hairspring, and the Geneva seal. And it's just the signs of the times. I can't honestly say one performs much better than the other, but this watch is sort of neo-vintage in as much as it now represents something that feels a little bit nostalgic and of a different time in terms of the design and layout of the dial, the size of the case, the Geneva hallmark on the movement. This is becoming what you could describe today as neo-vintage. So if you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.